First off, stand up.
I'm just going to do it because you have way more years than me in the show.
That's right, repeta. Hey, coming off first week of the season, Fernando, how do you feel the energy of the team is building as the season is progressing?
Feel great.
Una palabra nada más? Nice, that's how I would do it.
Welcome to Marty Time TV. I think I'm Marty Caswell. Am I here? Am I invisible? Am I blacked out? That is Darren Smith. That is D. Smith Show, the Section 1904 podcast. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Darren, before I get to how are you, introducing AJ Cassavell, I need to make sure. Am I here?
You are there.
Yes.
For now.
Yes. Success.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we can accomplish, apparently for now, fingers crossed, the very basic things about putting on a show.
Well then, you're here. I'm here. AJ Cassavell is going to be here. All's right in the world. Were you able to brush your teeth? Let's get to the important things. Yesterday, Darren, you're saying that the gods, the baseball gods came upon me, right? Because I did not allow you to brush your teeth, and that's why the show was a kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it was bad karma. Not only are my teeth brushed, but I'm also actually showered because I do have to get up and get out of here after we're done today. So yes, I do have something that I've got to go ahead and got to go do. There's soccer to be watched, Marty, and I have to go watch it. So I had to be prepared. So I had to do a lot of the things that I normally don't do. When people see me on these different shows, whether it's Marty Time TV or whether it's Friar Territory or whatever, Ben and Woods, I usually 95% of the time am showered. So this is, and not that you can tell the difference at all. Like there's really no difference here. But yes, this is the showered version for comparison's sake. So yes, I do feel better about that.
Good. I'm sure all the viewers, whether it's a Marty Time TV or on the Section 1904 podcast, which you can get on Apple and Spotify, I'm sure they are all relieved. All right, Darren. As I mentioned, AJ Cassavell will be here shortly. He had a good conversation with Fernando Tatis about what he likes about playing second base. We can play some of that if you like. The power rankings are out. The Padres jumped. Listen, the power rankings on April 14th. I know that you keep track of this stuff, Darren. I'm sure the players do as well. How big a deal is it to you that the Padres have somehow went from rock bottom to like top 5 in the power rankings?
Bring on the Colorado Rockies. Nothing like the Colorado Rockies coming to town. Good for everybody's confidence. All was right in the world. People slept well over the last couple of days. Yeah. Although probably a little restless, I think, for a lot of Padre fans about Nick Pivetta. Maybe there will be some clarity on Tuesday afternoon when you all make your way down to Petco Park. I doubt it, but maybe.
I doubt it too.
You never know. Maybe there will be, even if there's not absolute clarity on what it is that went on with Nick Pavetta, maybe there will be some clarity as to the beginning of a timeline. You know, I don't know. You don't have to really do anything here since you pitched on Sunday. Yeah. You do have the benefit of waiting a couple of days before you have to do anything, should you have to make a roster move. But maybe you'll have a little bit of clarity on that. So I don't know. That's up for you people. I mean, that's up to you guys. You guys are the ones that have to go down there and talk to Craig Stammen and talk to the front office types and report on such things. So speaking of showered.
There you go. Good open. Good intro.
Yeah. Speaking of, I saw this guy on Sunday night on NBC with Darren Tripp. I actually sent him a note. I said, you look good on television. I'm so self-conscious every time I go on that show. I'm like, why don't I look as natural as AJ Cassavell?
I didn't feel natural, but I appreciate all the people who reached out and said I did. It was a fun time. I'm not a TV. I don't spend much time on TV. I spend my time on Marty Time TV. So it felt
totally different experience, right?
Yes.
Who cares what happens here, right?
You could be wearing shorts
exactly.
and flip-flops and no one's going to know. By the way, how impressed
I am wearing
was
shorts.
Carlo to see his dad on TV?
That was the coolest thing. Carlo was pumped. Carlo was, because I didn't get home to say goodnight to him, but he was pumped to see me on TV. Awesome. My wife took a video of it, and it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, awesome. You did good, man. I'm not kidding when I say that. It's not just me throwing compliments around there. Like I pay attention to this stuff because, like, I'm not kidding. I'm like self-conscious when I go on these shows, and I'm always like digging around in my closet looking for some sort of sports coat. I'm like, look at AJ, just went up there, no coat.
I did feel a little underdressed. I felt a little underdressed, but that's not. I don't know. I was just talking baseball. You don't need to be wearing a sport coat to be talking baseball.
Good eye contact, bouncing back and forth, right? Like I just, it was good. Like it just looked natural. I always thought,
I mean, I think if you go back and watch, like I wasn't making the right eye contact for the first little bit, and then I was like, oh, I kind of need to be doing that. I kind of need to be looking both ways. But
okay, well, let's get to the important stuff. Marty wants to know how important the power
Barca?
rankings are. Power rankings,
I'm
the Padres have
joking.
bounced. They're all the
Padres
way
are
up to
5
where?
now.
Yeah.
Is that what they are? 5?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, like who's the second best team in the National League? Who's to say it's not the Padres? I mean, the pitching staff needs to be good enough, but like every other team but the Dodgers has question marks. So
Right.
the Braves are pretty good. Phillies are probably pretty good. The Mets are kind of a disaster right now.
Mhm.
Like the Brewers and Cubs, I don't know what to make of the NL Central. If any team's going to challenge the Dodgers, maybe it's the Padres. I don't know.
Is the Padres pitching staff good enough?
I mean, if Nick Pivetta is hurt for an extended period
Yeah.
of time, well, the question is what? Good enough to win the division? Like they're probably not going to win the division, especially not if like they don't have perfect luck health-wise, pitching-wise.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know. You get the 4 seed, get some home games in the playoffs, set yourself up to win a short series against LA. Like if that's how this season goes, that's a success. That's where you want to get to, I think. Obviously everyone's going to say they want to win the division, and this is April. It's April, whatever. April 14th. Standings don't matter yet, but I don't know who else in the National League is all that good. I mean, the Padres, a long way to go. They have a long way to show us they're not this good, but I think their offense is. I did say I did want to. Craig Stammen said he's not an "I told you so" kind of guy, but I think I am. So I'm going to say I'm coming on the show and saying that 2 weeks ago I said that the pitching would be the question we were talking about, and the offense would probably be fine. And here we are. I think the offense has kind of looked fine.
Did you say that about the pitching more, not because you expected Nick Pivetta to be injured, but more because of we don't know exactly what Walker Buehler and Germán Marquez is and having to rely on them for a good portion of the season? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you're missing Pavetta, like then who else do you rely on? And there's injury concerns with, I mean, Pavetta or Marquez and Buehler are like, aside from the fact that they haven't looked great, they've had some nice starts, but they haven't looked great, but like how many starts are they going to give you? If you have to dip even further into that depth, then who do you go to? But they have a great bullpen. They play in a ballpark that kind of helps starting pitchers. So, and they have Ruben Niebla, so maybe they can work around it all.
AJ, let's talk a little bit about Nick Pivetta, because I know you were talking about this on Sunday night, and obviously I'm guessing it's going to be question number 1, number 2, number 3 to Craig Stammen a little later on Tuesday at Petco Park for the opening round of the Better Cup. I think, well, let me just ask you, you were there, I'm guessing, when Nick Pivetta spoke after the game on Sunday. He didn't really want to go into any detail. I don't blame him. I mean, I certainly can appreciate that you don't want to go and start talking about, was it an individual pitch? Was it related to what happened in spring training? I just wonder, like, walk us through your mental process of like, what were you thinking about when you saw him come out of this game? Did you immediately look at velocity? Did you start thinking about what happened during spring training? Like if you're starting to piece things together here later, just to, to present yourself as smartly as you often do in these group settings, in these media settings, like what were the things that you were looking out for, or the things that you noticed now after he came out of the game?
Well, first you go back and watch like the 3 or 4 pitches beforehand, and I have my little screen up, and I'll be honest, like I had the Masters on that screen right up until I saw Nick Pivetta walking off the mound. So then I had to go to the screen and like kind of look at exactly his body language in those pitches after. And it wasn't like, I've seen guys walk off the mound with torn UCLs, and it's like they get that tingling sensation in their fingers. You can kind of see how they react to that. Like my first reaction was, this is discomfort, but it's not like a specific thing that happened. Then you go to the velocity, and the velocity is down, but it's not like starkly down where he's never thrown pitches that slow before. And so all of that's doesn't prove anything, but it is to give some kind of credence to the idea that maybe the elbow was just stiff and that like it's not anything specific or serious. That being said, like it's a pitcher with an elbow injury, so like these things can get worse if you don't treat them right. They can come back later. So like who knows? I mean, if this was related to what happened in spring training, then like it's something that's got to get taken care of. And if skipping 8 days then wasn't good enough, well, now maybe skipping a month. The answer is skipping a month or 2, and that's not ideal. I don't know if like I'm just kind of speculating here, but it's like those are the things that I look for. And it didn't scream out like worst case scenario based on those 2 things. you never know. Pitcher with an elbow. We'll see.
And Craig Stammen mentioned that he was under the weather as well. He wasn't playing his normal high intensity ping pong in the locker in the Padres clubhouse before the game. Mentioned the vitamin C factor. So, and I know Stammen said, and we all, I'm not sure if we all rolled our eyes, but he said there is a world, there is a scenario in which he makes his next start. I would be beyond shocked if that happened, just because of the whole what you mentioned about spring training. You have the ultimate due diligence when it comes to Nick Pivetta, a guy that you absolutely need this season.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be clarified that he said that in response to a question about who was going to replace Pivetta on the roster, and I think that's a fair way to answer that. Is like, well, like we don't know yet. We haven't ruled anything out. He could make his next start. I think he wasn't saying that's going to happen. He knows it's probably unlikely.
AJ, can I jump in on that as well? Because I think oftentimes people ask questions, right? Especially with the Padres having an off day on Monday. I'm sure there's lots of people that would say things like, well, you know, you got to get him into an MRI and you got to find out what's going on here. Could you walk us through like not everything is, as easy as that, right? Like I don't know that the team can order players. I don't know that they can't, but I don't know that the team can order players to go have MRIs. A player could go choose to have an MRI, but does he have to report back what the findings were? I've often heard from plenty of players who don't want to have MRIs because they're pretty sure that something is probably off no matter what, even under ideal circumstances. So could you just walk us through a little bit about like what the actual, scenarios are, like what is or isn't possible? Because a lot of people, I think, are right to ask these kind of questions, but I think they also don't understand. Like, it's not as easy as people want it to be, where it's like, throw this guy into an MRI machine, whether he wants to or not,
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't have perfect clarity on exactly how this goes down between player and organization and the MRI, like where how they get from step A to step B. I think there's something to that. Like every pitcher is going to have something wrong in their elbow. Like there's going to be inflammation. There's going to be some sort of, I don't know, maybe a bone chip or a bone. Like guys have that and pitch through that and don't know that, and then they get an MRI and learn it, and it can cause them to pitch differently. It can be helpful. It can be, I don't know, probably less oftentimes it can be unhelpful. What I would say is like, I think there's some merit in like giving it a couple days and like in the immediate aftermath of him coming off the mound, seeing like how he responds. It's not like he's going to do anything to jeopardize the health of that elbow in the time in between. So we'll probably learn more today and whether he needs one. This isn't, like I said, it doesn't seem to have been something that happened on a specific pitch that he felt a distinct sensation. And obviously Pavetta wouldn't go into it. So maybe that's not true, but like based on what I saw on the mound and based on what Craig Stammen said, it's stiffness. Like who knows? Who knows like what that MRI could show that matters and what doesn't matter. And if it's probably prudent at some point. I don't know how you get there. Like if this thing lingers, like probably prudent, but it's not. This guy walked off the mound. His elbow was hurting a little bit immediately before he gets into the clubhouse. Let's stick him in the MRI machine and find out.
It was AJ. It was such a newsy weekend with the Padres. I mean, there's like 5 different top stories that you can go with at different angles. That I almost feel like Jeremiah Estrada's injury for tendonitis went completely under the radar. Of course, they did get Jason Adam back that day, but how concerning is this injury with Estrada?
In the fact of like level of concern on the concern-o-meter, it's higher than Pavetta in the sense that like. His velocity was way down, and he did say that when he was playing catch today, he felt something kind of different. That being said, and even like the nature of the way the Padres described the injury, like elbow stiffness leads you to believe that like, it just hasn't quite gotten loose, gotten going. Whereas was it tendonitis? I think was the
tendonitis.
I mean, yes. that's an inflamed or irritated tendon, and like that can mean anything. That can mean any sort of number of things. So that aside, like, I guess we'll see. We'll find out. The Padres have more cover in the bullpen, so like on the level of concern. But like losing Jeremiah Estrada would stink. I mean, he's a fun guy. I mean, just from our perspective, he's a fun guy to cover. He's a great dude. He's very talkative and
he's great.
Like, he gives you a lot of insight and he's thoughtful and That he also has a very high ceiling and a lot of years of team control where the Padres can really maximize his value. So this would be a real setback, and if this goes in some sort of serious nature.
It's also the folly of falling into the trap of ever believing that you have a surplus in anything in life. So much is like, oh, you have such a surplus in bullpen arms that you can afford to move it, and then all of a sudden you lose one, and now it's like instead of 4, you have 3, and then what happens if one other guy's unavailable, and all of a sudden Morejon seems like he's working his way through something and has to adjust. It just is amazing how quickly these things change, right? Like the perceived area of depth or the perceived area of where you have a deficit, how quickly these things turn around. Like, oh, Padres don't have any back end of the lineup, and like all of a sudden all these dudes are mashing, and it's a real like math problem to try to get them all at bats. Like it's so funny the way this works in sports. Without fail, it seems like every single time.
Yeah, and bullpen especially, and that's why like I go into the season I thought this was gonna be like one of the best bullpens ever, and I kept having to like kind of like knock myself on the head. Like bullpens, they're volatile. They never are the same year over year. And I still think it's going to be a really good bullpen. I still think if they lose Jeremiah Estrada, like they have guys that can cover that. Bradley Rodriguez has been awesome. David Morgan looks like kind of like he could pitch high leverage. But yeah, like you said, volatile. Baseball's a volatile sport, and bullpens are the most volatile aspect of a roster.
Anything you're noticing about Adrian Morejon?
Not really. Like, he's maybe not getting as much swing and miss, but like if you look at and we were doing this a couple weeks ago with the offense and the expected numbers, but you look at the expected numbers against Morejon, like a lot of these are just seeing eye singles that are getting through. I think maybe he's getting frustrated, and it's not like, I don't know, there might be some mechanical thing, it might be some specific thing that can get worked out, but I think that like when you're as good as he was last year and you give up a few runs, you maybe try and be a little too perfect, and then that causes you to screw up again. And like I just have kind of noticed that when he's on the mound, like I think he came in wanting to build off of last season, and it hasn't gone perfectly, and he's kind of been punched in the mouth a little bit, even though his stuff's still 100 miles an hour, still doing Adrian Morejon things. Like he hasn't been the same guy, but I would, like, based on what I've seen, I would just kind of guess that he will be at some point, probably soon.
I'm sorry.
Expected numbers. I know you guys love expected numbers talk.
Oh, I do.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite topic. All right. So AJ, well, I guess the biggest story, Pivetta is a huge story from the weekend. I know you were there with Tatis, asking him about playing second base. How shocked would you be if we go to Petco Park, game 1 of the Vetter Cup, and no more questions in the Vetter Cup? I'm sure Stammen, that's like Stammen's genre. I think that's something that he would appreciate. The players, no idea, but will Tatis be at second base, Darren, and AJ for game 1?
Well, when the games are as important as these, the Vetter Cup,
oh no,
like you got to play your best defensive outfield.
100%.
Yeah, you can't give away game 1 of the Vetter Cup. We saw how that went last year. Just too important. No, he'll be in right field. I think. Like I think I would be stunned if it was 3 days in a row, because the whole premise of why this is happening is because Cronenworth and Bogarts need days off.
Yesterday was a day off. Hey AJ Cassavell. Yesterday was a day off. So today, when you talk to Craig Stammen when we're there, make sure you second guess that decision. Say, listen, didn't you know Monday was an off day? Wasn't that the off day?
No, he's giving him. For what it's worth, as someone who enjoys a day off, I appreciate the mindset of like keeping these guys fresh for the end of the season, because I'll take a series off here and there, and then I'm fresh for the pennant race. Like I get that, I like that, and so if you give a guy a Saturday off and a Monday off, or back-to-back days off, and these guys are wired differently than me.
Yeah,
but like I do think there's some validity to that. So anyway, if they'll be in the lineup tonight at their respective positions, and if they're not, then this kind of takes on a different angle. But I would be surprised if that happens.
What happens if Tatis goes 0 for 4 and right tonight?
Boom.
Then it's funny, like because you have to play him at second base because he hits. But I don't like it's. I think that's such a nonsense kind of narrative. And Stammen even said that after the game. Like he brought it up when he was being like, he got a dozen questions about it, and it was just kind of one thing he said offhanded. He was like, "Yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll make him hit." And then he went 3 for 4 or whatever. And then after the game, I think he said, he was like, he could have gone 3 for 4 in the outfield, which is 100% true. It does not matter where Tatis is playing; like he can hit. But
yeah, but I mean,
he's facing a tougher pitcher tonight.
You have this quote from Fernando here. where he says, I don't want to say I'm more focused, which kind of you're saying you're more focused, but it's more quick action in there. You've got double plays. You got people on first, people on second. You get more involved. I mean, that's Fernando sort of suggesting that, right?
Well, then he's got to figure it out.
A little bit of mental activity there that's going on that maybe doesn't happen for him every day out in right.
True. But I still think he's hit in right field before. And it very well could happen. They're facing a much tougher pitcher today than they did over the weekend against the Rockies. So it very well could happen. And then it's funny. Then it's just a funny storyline that I still don't give. I'm going to need a much bigger sample size than 2 games to say Fernando Tatis Jr. is an elite hitting second baseman but can't hit in right field.
I don't know, AJ. I mean, what if this continues all year? What if a third of his hits come from batting?
Then it would be hilarious, and I would be willing to be proven wrong. It would be funny if the Padres had to play him at second base.
He needs to be challenged.
Anywhere else.
He needs to be challenged. He is so extraordinarily gifted that he can play the outfield and rob home runs in his sleep. He needs to be engaged, right?
I do not buy this narrative.
I know. Maybe the conversations, the infield huddles are just more entertaining.
He loves the infield. He definitely loves it. And there definitely is something to him being more engaged. I think that's I think that where that actually manifests itself is him having fun pregame and him really enjoying showing up to the ballpark and enjoying something. Because I don't know, if you shag fly balls in right field every single day for 162 days, why not do something different and have some fun and make your work environment more fun? That's kind of all this is, I think.
Is there a reason he didn't play short?
It was described as they want him replacing both Bogarts and Cronenworth on their days off, and they don't want him playing multiple positions. So if it's going to be one, it's going to be second because they'd rather have Cronenworth slide to short than Bogarts slide to second. That's their reasoning behind it. And I think that makes sense. Also, if you put him at short, then all of a sudden get those juices flowing for him. He probably he might want to move back. I think it's
going 4 for 4 with 4 home runs.
It's fine. Well, if he does move him to short and he does that, then we'll have that conversation.
Then it becomes a thing with Xander Bogaerts, who resisted against the idea of didn't want to move to second, is not ready to move to first base. So that's happening. So you bring Tatis to second base, and then you bring Jackson Merrill back into shortstop. And that's why you had Sung Moon Song, playing the outfield with an outfield glove in spring training, right? Just go ahead and mix it all up.
I would love to see it. I would have so much content to write about, but no, that's not what I would do if I were running a baseball team.
That's all we want. We want content. That's it.
Got to admit, Craig Stammen is
giving us content.
Providing the content here.
The lineups are every day. I'm excited to see the lineup. Where last year, there have been a couple times this year I've gotten something happened in the lineup that I didn't notice because I just opened my phone and looked at it. I didn't see that Manny Machado wasn't in the lineup because I just kind of have trained myself to not be ready for something out of left field coming here. So I got to be a little more on my toes with Craig Stammen and making his lineups.
Yeah, man, he's been the content fairy here early on since spring training. He just keeps dropping all the the content dust all over the Peoria Sports Complex and now Petco Park as well. So credit to him.
I love a good line. I love lineup talk. It is. I always have to caveat it by saying it's a little overrated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that important what order you line these guys up in, but I love it. It's
the lifeblood.
It's fun. It's interesting.
It's the first thing. There's nothing that sparks debate like a lineup. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Hey,
and then
AJ, for you, what's it been like? What's been different in covering Craig Stammen as the manager and just how he does things?
There's a lot that's been different. I would say the thing that's different for me is and one thing I'm trying to you have to cover a manager long enough, for a decent amount of time to kind of get an idea of what they're doing, when they're being sincere, what they're saying. But it seems like he's fairly sincere. We get a pretty good idea. You ask a question and you get his actual thoughts. Which that's not a knock on recent managers the Padres have had. I think a lot of managers around the big leagues don't answer a question that you have because out of fear of upsetting a player or out of fear of front office reprisal. That's very real around the big leagues, but I don't think Craig Stammen cares. I think he just you lob him up a question and he gives you his thought process to it. And maybe it rubs some fans the wrong way because he's saying kind of how he feels. And there have been things that I have disagreed with. I don't particularly love the use of Jake Cronenworth either first or ninth. I think if a guy is good enough to hit first, well, then he shouldn't be also, unless it's a very specific situation or if you're just flip-flopping between righty and lefty, Like that shouldn't usually be the case. But he gives me his thought process for it and says, I want him getting on base for these guys, and I want him kind of setting the table. He doesn't like the term second leadoff man, but that's essentially what he's saying. So like I can appreciate if a manager is doing something I disagree with and at least explaining to me why he's doing it.
He did. I heard.
I mean, that's an important point, Marty. And I'm sorry, just because I do think, not to like we've all covered different managers. Like Buddy Black, I thought was always a great manager to cover because you could sit there and literally say, why are you batting Chase Headley third? This doesn't make any sense to me. And he would not go, well, what do you know, nerd? Like he would, he'd go, well, this is why we're doing it. And this is, and whether it was on or off the record or whatever, like there's a funny story where once he called into the pregame show because somebody said they're yelling about you batting your batting order. And like he just liked the dialogue. You know what I mean? Like he enjoyed the dialogue, even if you're like, I don't agree. And who are any of us? Like these are the guys that play the game and all that sort of stuff. And obviously there are guys on the other side of the spectrum there. Like Stammen, I'm not there. You guys are. He sort of strikes me as somebody who's not going to get super irritated, at least early on. If you ask a legitimate question and you have a reason for doing it, he seems to kind of understand that sort of stuff. Am I right?
Yeah, I think he understands. Like he's a sports fan. Like who like he came into the press conference the other day. We were told not to give any Masters spoilers because he hadn't watched the end of the Masters and was gonna and he watches Dayton basketball and like listens to the post game show. I'm sure he knows what the coach is thinking. Like he knows why we're doing what we're doing, and also like clearly kind of appreciates that aspect of it. And so I think there are things that have and will continue to like annoy him about this aspect of the job. Like we take up a lot of his time. And like some of the questions are procedural and I get it. Like we can't be the most fun people to deal with every single day, but like, I think and not even from a selfish perspective, just from like giving fans what they deserve to know. This is the best way to do it. Just be honest. Be kind of confident enough in your decision to be able to explain why you made the decision. Have you pegged down when his first managerial ejection would be? Do we know? I don't know if we're going to see. Like, when are we? No? What are the circumstances going to be? He's not an ejection kind of guy. He's never been ejected. I know. Not as a player, not as a minor leaguer. And I'm not sure he strikes me as a guy that's going to do it on purpose to go ahead and like fire up the team. That's just he's just different. Yeah, I think he already kind of has the respect of the players. I don't think who knows, maybe like if the season goes south and they need someone to fire him up, maybe. But like it will not. I'm very certain it will not just be like I have to get ejected. It would be he's a competitive guy. Also, he says something snarky or in the wrong spot. But I don't know when it's going to happen. Let's say August 25th. Yeah,
it's going to be like the catcher didn't leave a lane for the base runner. It's going to be one of those kind of plays, right? Like was he in the base path? Was he not in the base path? Did he take the runner out at second base? All that. Like it's going to be one of those kind of things.
Maybe it'll be the Dodger series when Tatis gets hit 3 times in that series, something like that. All right,
but then that would be a forced ejection. That would be him having to.
AJ Cassavell, I know you have to run here shortly. Darren has a soccer bar to run to as well. This is important stuff.
I might try and hit one up if my other meetings. Darren? Who do you think has a better chance of coming back today? Liverpool or Barcelona?
Barcelona.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know if you were feeling as negatively as I was.
I mean, we're sort of in the same boat on this one, right? Both down 2-0, but
Barcelona's on the road, right?
At Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And they are not going to be attacking at all. You know what it's going to be there. It's going to be 100% just defending for 90 minutes and Barcelona trying to break that down, which I think they can do. I think the thing with Liverpool is where the way they played at PSG, even though you come back 2-0, you're going back home. And if you get that one early goal, that place is going to be on fire. So like, I don't think either one. I just think PSG is a better team than Liverpool. And I think the Barcelona is better than Atletico Madrid, but it's not about who's better in this tournament. I just think the way Liverpool played defensively at PSG, it was all designed, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't watch them as much as you, to get that early goal at home and then turn that place completely into a cauldron, correct?
Yeah, they were fine to lose 2-0, which I hated. I just hated taking
I
that
like that
mentality. Like, not even I'm even okay with like let's be okay with 2-0, but at least have some sort of threat. And they didn't bring Mo Salah off the bench, and
Right.
I hated the way they approached the first leg. And like, if maybe they might have lost 4-0 if they didn't play that way, and they would have no chance in this today.
Right.
But like, their best chance of winning it was to kind of, I don't know, being behind by 2 goals. Liverpool's done it before. They did it against Barcelona. This is the shirt. I got this shirt in Liverpool shortly after that. It was a shirt that Mo wore that heading into that game. So like, if it's happened before. They've come back
Terrible
from
day.
multiple goals down.
That was
It's like one of my favorite.
life.
It's like one of my favorite days as a sports fan. And
Not
I have,
only,
like,
not
nothing
only did
against
I watch Barcelona
but-
lose and give up a 4-goal lead or a 3-goal lead to Liverpool, then I got on a bird scooter and broke my collarbone. So
Oh,
Yeah.
That's rough.
yeah, that was the same day. That was, I think, May 19th of 2019. And we just had gotten fired. So, not a great day in my life.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, and I had tickets to the Champions League final in Madrid. And, now I have a broken collarbone and my team isn't even playing. So, yeah, not great.
So you had tickets? You sold
Well,
them?
I had them lined up through Barcelona, but obviously
Okay.
I bailed on that. But still had the tickets to Madrid and couldn't carry my suitcases because I had a broken collarbone.
You just
So-
think about this every single day.
Yeah. It's,
Still
you
thinking about
don't
it.
forget days like that. AJ
No, you
doesn't
don't.
either, but for opposite reasons, corner
Yeah.
taken quickly, all that nonsense. It was terrible. So I've seen it. So I'm still haunted by what it was that happened.
But this
at
Liverpool
Anfield.
team is not
I know.
that team. Like, I'm trying
I
to
know.
remember like how I felt going into those games, and they were like, I remember like having this like level of confidence because they had a swagger where it's like, well, you know what? Even if we're worse than Barcelona, we're gonna freaking take it to you. Like, we're gonna clop it up and just heavy metal like it. And like, this team doesn't have that. So I agree with you. I think Barcelona.
Who was
can
on that
come
team?
back, have a
Usman
good Liverpool
Dembele, who's on PSG. So I don't know. I will
Right.
wish you luck. I will take all the good karma that I can, as much as I'm loath to pull for Liverpool. I'm actually more irritated to pull for PSG. But all right, looking forward to it. We'll save the U.S. soccer talk for another day. AJ, just real quick.
I don't
yes or
have
no,
much.
Next week.
Is it good or bad that a sporting director for U.S. soccer quits this job 2 months before the World Cup? Probably bad, right? Yeah, probably bad.
Probably bad.
Right. Thanks, AJ.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, AJ. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks, AJ Cassavell. I'll see you later at Petco Park. I am Marty Caswell. That's Darren Smith on the Section 1904 podcast. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a wonderful day. We'll get some news on Pavetta and Tatis filling up later on, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Peace out. How have you felt about your own start to this season? What have you been able to do?
Obviously, we won better numbers or whatever, but I've been playing some good baseball, playing defense, offense, hitting the ball hard in every part of the field. But looks like the baseball gods are really mad at me right now. It's all right, I'll take it. We got 5 more months of baseball, and I'm ready for it. I'm really prepared, and I have all the confidence in the world that it's going to turn around.